Welcome to the Rad Dad Redemption Podcast. Here's your hosts, Drew and Dex.
All right, we back.
Welcome back to the basement.
Yeah.
Doing one of our classic redo intros.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but that was an effeminate way to open the show.
Yeah, and now it's all on you.
Fuck. Hey, everybody. What's going on?
What's happening?
Welcome back to the Rad Dad Redemption Podcast. We're your hosts.
I'm Dex.
I'm Drew.
And we're
pulling off a morning show.
We're doing a morning show.
I haven't had anything to drink today.
Oh, God, are you shaking?
We got to get through this.
Yeah, actually, can we start with like some big time news?
Yeah.
Since the last episode, I put the news stinger on the sound pad, I feel obligated to use it as frequently as possible.
Do it.
Tonight, breaking news as we come on the air.
Here is a news bulletin from the CBC Television News Service.
I'm Wolf Blitzer, and you're in the Situation Room.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
We are huge in Brazil, so shout out all our Brazilian listeners.
Yeah, I just want to take a minute for everyone in Brazil, which is now dwarfing all other downloads and listenership. Thank you so much. I'm working on my Portuguese. I think, can we do that? Is there like a AI way to reformat one of our episodes just into Portuguese?
Yeah, let's just get them all translated.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, it's great. It's great to know that we have some fans out there.
Yeah, I can't wait to make it down to Carnival.
Oh, I know nothing about Brazil. That was like even the fact that they speak Portuguese, like that was a Googled fact.
Yeah, well, they're the only country in South America where Portuguese is the main language, not Spanish.
Look at you.
Yeah.
See, okay, you're gonna impress some people. What else do you know about Brazil?
The world's 6th largest economy.
Stop.
Yeah, Brazil's a huge country, dude.
Yeah, lots of redheads.
They're burning the fuck out of that rainforest down there. You guys should chill out on that.
Wait, we don't want to lose her.
No. Hey,
you guys. I don't even like rainforests.
Yeah, you know what? Burn it all.
Yeah, get rid of it. Who needs it? The lungs of the planet, as I learned in the 6th grade.
A little context for our non-Brazilian listeners. I was going through the stats. Like I was just randomly looking at the stats on our Podbean,
which we don't really do anymore.
No, I don't really look at it closely. Like whenever I log in, it's like there for me to see, but I don't go into a ton of detail. But it caught my eye because it was literally 2 days of these massive spikes. Like, usually we can see like some waves in our listenership day to day. This made the previous waves of our normal listenership look like a flat line, like nobody listened, and then all of a sudden 2 days, boom. And I was like, oh, it's crazy. Sometimes that can happen if we get like maybe, 40 listeners on one day, and previous days we haven't had many. But this was literally like 350 listens per day on these 2 spikes, which is like hugely unusual.
It feels great.
And then I went and I was like, what the what's going, like, did we
It looked like the Ocean Gate Titanic deaths graph.
Oh yeah, it was just like, oh, that's where it imploded. Yeah. And so yeah, I went and I was looking at the details, and so one of the things I looked at was the country of listenership, and Brazil was like number 1 by far.
Brazil is number 1. That's not that could be a Brazilian accent. It's just got some racial undertones. I'm gonna stop that.
But yeah, so and then I was like, what the fuck is this? And so every single episode downloaded multiple times from Brazil. Like it was very, very weird. It wasn't like one episode or anything. And so I was trying to research like what this could be. First I asked you, I was like, did you buy fake listens? Because
I talked about that. Yeah. Like just, and I don't know what the value in that is. I suppose you could then approach someone else like Mountain Dew Baja Blast. There's an XL throwback and be like, we actually have listeners.
We have a ton of listeners.
That's what you could do with
our show. Yeah. But again, you'd want listeners like probably in your home country, or at least like a target demographic.
Yeah, they want to be like, where are these listeners?
Oh, they're all in Brazil. And then there was also like, to a smaller degree, there was a bunch from India and like Bangladesh. And so then I was Googling, like, what could be the cause of this? And my research found that most likely what the cause of this was that apparently in Brazil, they have a ton of data centers for training AI models. And something in maybe one of our episodes, or, you know, maybe they're just scrubbing podcasts, but they train a ton of AI models using information off the internet. And so these AI models downloaded our podcast multiple times to like train its own knowledge base, which made me laugh because now there's like just the dumbest AI. It's just getting ready to be unleashed upon the world, trained on Rad Dad content.
Man, okay, this is very Life of Pi-esque, where like there's two stories here, and one is completely unbelievable, and the other is just like a traumatic experience, you know, from a child's perspective. I don't like the narrative that it's an AI bot. I like it more like some people down in Brazil, City of God style, they're on the beach listening to our podcast.
Like we're just getting huge word of mouth.
Yeah. You know, someone stumbled upon it. They misspelled Red Dead Redemption, found our podcast. They're a girl dad down in Brazil, and they're just telling everybody.
You gotta listen.
He was in a crowded room, 350 people, and he's like, everyone get their phones out right now and go download this episode.
We're huge in the favelas.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where the data centers are.
Yeah.
Getting rained on. Okay, no, it's probably this AI thing that you're explaining.
I want to go with your explanation though.
And I don't even really, when you say AI training, so like, because it's open source, and so they're using like the information on the internet to just kind of like.
They're just trying to soak up everything they can. Like, who knows? It could be a voice training model, and maybe like now you can AI replicate our voices. Not necessarily like Google Dex done for voice replication, but maybe there's a voice model out there that's trained on, you know, white male Canadian voices, and it's based on a combination of our voices or something, right? Like, who knows? It could just be like, it could be, you know, a knowledge base AI where it's like trying to replace a Google or a ChatGPT. Who knows? But in any case, this AI can't be very good.
Dude, I'm thinking like Skynet, like when the robots take over, like when we're all getting done in, and all these robots are just like filled with like Rad Dad content. You know, you're at work and these robots blow up the wall, come in, and they're subverting human society, but they're just doing it while making fart noises. You know, give us all your Baja Blast, Diane Keaton. You know, like,
Rip.
That would be cool. Yeah, sorry. Oh yeah, did we do an in memoriam for Diane Keaton?
We did not. No.
Oh, dude, you don't have anything on your plate right now.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
I'm the one who's unemployed, but let's we'll edit in the Diane Keaton in memoriam.
The Rad Dad Redemption Podcast extends our deepest condolences to the friends and family of Diane Keaton. Diane was the most stunning and beautiful 79-year-old woman the world has ever known. While they were rare, her nude scenes stand out among all boring Hollywood nude scenes and provided Dex with frequent erections during his sexual awakening as a young man. While she may be gone from our physical world, she lives on in our wet dreams. Heaven has gained another Gilf. Rest in peace.
That was a bummer, man. She was my crush.
Yeah, I know. An odd one, too.
It was an odd one, yeah.
That was the first thing I thought when
got a very specific taste.
I got a text from your wife being like, "Hey, go easy on Dex today. He's got some big sadness in his heart." And I was like, "Oh no, what happened?" She said, "You know, Diane Keaton died." And I had to Google Diane Keaton. I obviously know who it is, but that was just the first thing I did. I was like, I'm going to Google Diane Keaton. And my first thought was not like, oh, that's sad she passed away. I was like, her? This is Dex's crush?
No, you got to see her full frontal scene and Something's Gotta Give.
I will.
Yeah.
Add to list.
Go to Mr. Skin.
That's what the Skynet robots are going to be yelling. They've got like a digital...
Have you seen Something's Gotta Give?
They've got like an interface so they can display images, and it's just that full frontal of Diane Keaton as they're fucking killing everybody. Oh my God. The apocalypse is sexy.
She passed away last weekend, right before the Hubtown show, and I threw in a shout out to Diane Keaton, but also because I felt like I can no longer do my Diane Keaton oral sex joke. So
I don't know. Necro's kind of hot.
depends.
Not like the act of. I just mean like it's in vogue. You know, there's lots of. I guess I should clarify.
Yeah,
I don't like
explain.
that. I just think you can make jokes about that now.
Yeah, fair enough.
You can make jokes about anything now.
Yeah, totally.
And there's nothing coming up after that. I'm not gonna test that theory. Speaking of making jokes, you have been on an absolute fucking tear lately, and that's
just getting
exciting.
out there.
So you had, for the first time, 2 shows in one night.
Yeah,
One in the metropolis of Nanton,
yeah.
and then you had to double back to the
Metropolis. High River.
metropolis of High River.
Yeah. It was this opportunity kind of came out of the blue in Nanton. Like the High River one, I think we talked about on the last podcast. I got booked for that. But this Nanton one, it was like, hey, we need a few more bodies on this show. And it was earlier. It started at 5:30. And so I was like, well, I got a show in High River, but if you guys put me on near the beginning, I'll do my set and then I'll head up to High River. So I went to this Nanton show and I dragged Sean out with me,
Which I didn't know. So when I was trying to, sorry to interject, but I was trying to maintain, like I usually when you're at shows that I'm not at, which happens frequently, I want to know everything. You know, tell me who's there. Tell me who bombed. Tell me how your jokes went, everything. But I wanted to maintain like a little bit of like, don't tell me, because I want to hear it all today on the podcast. Yeah. And then I get this text from Sean being like, we're at this fucking Chinese restaurant. There's like grandpas and grandmas with their 8-year-old kids celebrating birthdays, and Dex is about to go up and do his set. I was like, oh God. I just sat in my living room doing the like self chuckle, just imagining like, how's this going?
It was a crazy experience that I'm glad Sean came with me for it, because nobody would probably believe me if he didn't back me up on it.
Yeah, tell me. Okay, break it down.
So we roll up, and it's Raymond's Chinese restaurant in Nanton, and it's, you know, a buffet style Chinese restaurant and
a comedy hub.
Yeah. I mean, it was actually like, it's a nice big open space. Like it was a good spot to have a show, and the lineup was really good. There's a lot of comedians that came down from Calgary. Like there's some really good comedians that I've seen at other shows. I would say Nanton was like, I don't think you realized it, Nanton, if you weren't at the show, because if you were under 85 or over 10, you weren't there.
That's a big spread, big slot size.
It was a different crowd for sure. But like, no joke, there was some crazy funny people there that made the trip down from Calgary and stuff. And so I was like, man, this is a great lineup for like a Chinese food restaurant free show in Nanton. But of course it was a Chinese food restaurant free show in Nanton. And so like I'm sitting there, I got there a little early with Sean, and there's a few other comedians there, you know, some were trickling in, and then of course diners were trickling in. And I'm looking, and like the crowd is decidedly old. Like, so I was like, okay, like, you know, and they didn't say there's any restriction on content, but they were like, you know, be aware of your audience. Like, look at who's here. And so I was like, okay, well, so I had, you know, my set was actually, I don't know if you saw it, or I don't know if I did it last week. No, I didn't. I did a different bit. But it was my World War II set about how much I love World War II documentaries. And I was looking at the crowd, and I was like, man, half these people probably fought. Like, and I was,
they're having a very traumatic dinner.
And so
you're bringing it up.
I was like, oh, so I looked at Sean. He's like, no, it'll be funny as long as you're like making fun of the Germans and Hitler, which I was. You know, I was obviously taking that side of things. I wasn't like trying to rewrite history. And so we're sitting there, and then all of a sudden I see this van pull up, and like grandma and grandpa and mom and dad get out with like 3 young kids in tow. Like, we're talking like, one was probably the age of my youngest, like maybe 3. One was 5, and one was maybe 7. Like, we're talking young kids, and they sat front and center. So like, as you're up there looking to the crowd, you're looking, and the parents and grandparents had their backs to us, so you're looking into the eyes of these young children. And I was like, so this is the most nervous all of a sudden I've ever been for a show.
You said that to me. You're like, Because leading up to it, I was talking with you and I said, how's it going? And you're like, I've never felt this way before going up. And you're usually a very confident man. That's how your selling point when we go to a lot of these shows is other people they reek of anxiety. Like it's if you've never been in front of people up on stage for any reason, like obviously it's like the biggest fear in the world for a reason.
People are more afraid of public speaking than death.
Yeah, so it's like it's nerve-wracking, but you usually never or if you do feel that, you can either manage it really well or you've got that experience, you're just like, nope, you don't look affected.
Yeah.
But you said you're like, okay, no, I'm at
I was
kid's
nervous
birthday
and
party.
I was like I'm not really dirty when I do comedy. Like I'm not like really out there doing like way off color jokes, but I'm not clean.
Yeah, I mean, that was my question before you went on. I was like, are you going to do the Squirtopia mattress pad joke?
And then what I ended up doing, so
I did hear this. Sean could not contain himself.
My first bit was about Sister Wives and how I was shocked that show is still on because I just assumed that the husband killed himself on account of having 3 wives. So that's my opener. That's how I started. I started with a suicide joke, and then it went into how bad he fucked up that whole situation. I was like, I mean, the only good thing about having 3 wives would be the orgies, but he had them living in different houses, so he did it totally wrong where he had 3 wives but like none of the benefits of having 3 wives. He just had 3 mortgages and 3 families and 3 times the responsibility.
And then you had to lean into the front row and be like, and Timmy, an orgy
is when more than 3 people participate in a sexual act together. Yeah, so then I went into the orgy bit, and then I went into the Law and Order bit where I talk about SVU is great because it's Law and Order, but everyone gets raped.
Yeah.
So that
was what Sean texted. I already, like, honestly, man, rape. Yeah, even saying it.
I know it's bad, but it's like that is what Law and Order SVU is.
I know, but like I'm just saying
the word is very.
It's like
shocking.
the C word. It's like every time you hear it, you're like, ugh. Even if it's like there's no way to have like an appropriate context. It's like it's despicable.
Yeah, it's a horrible thing.
So to make a joke,
and that's
about
kind
it,
of the punchline is like they took like a show and they were like, we're gonna do the same like exact plot lines. You know, it's got like murder and investigation and all of this, but it's special victims unit, so everyone is sexually assaulted at some point, right? Like, and that's my whole joke is how crazy it is to even fucking pitch that, but it's like the most popular, like, long time running TV series of all time. Anyway, did that, and then I did a joke about Galen Weston getting murdered, and then my last joke was about the final days of World War II, and I did my World War II documentaries. I was talking about how Hitler killed himself and how all of his like loyal, you know, truest of true believers in the bunker with him would have been so like pissed off that they were like, oh, this is your whole fucking idea and you're going to kill yourself. And then I was like, but the sad thing is he killed his dog. And I was like, and it's sad because it's never good when pets die, but also he robbed us of an opportunity to see a pet on trial for war crimes. And I was like, just imagine like Paw Patrol meets Nuremberg trials, where they've got Chase up there.
He's got a little SS hat instead of his fucking...
Yeah, I was like, they got Chase up there because he's a German Shepherd. They got Chase up there, and they end up executing him by firing squad, and that's how I closed my set. Executing a beloved child cartoon character. But I was sitting there, and I was like, I was genuinely panicking.
You went for it.
Well, I was looking at Sean, I was like, I guess I can try and pivot to another bit, but I'm running through all these bits in my head that I've done that I know. And I was like, none of these are any more appropriate. And so I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to go for it. Like, what? But I was like, butterflies in my stomach. I've done Laugh Shop with 300 people in the room. I've done, you know, the finals at Hubtown.
Did a show with Andy Haynes.
I did a show with Andy Haynes. I've done way bigger shows. This is a Chinese restaurant in Nanton with maybe 35 non-comedians in the building. Like, and it was the most nervous I've ever been.
Okay, $1 million question. Laughs. How'd it go?
So there was a few tables that actually got some great laughs. There was one table that was like, they were into it. Like, I was like, oh, I did a really quick joke about Love is Blind. And like the lady was like, I love that show. And I was like, okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Like, and there was another table of older people that were like, they were really into it. You could tell that there's a split in the crowd. There was, I would say the vast majority was there for Saturday buffet with their family. and a comedy show happened to also be happening. And then there was a handful of tables that were actually like, they were there for the comedy. And so they were really engaged and got some great laughs. And like the comedians at the back, I could hear their laughs. I could hear Sean laughing. And like I was dying laughing when other comedians were going up because of the context. Like I was the second person to go up and I saw these children looking me in the eyes. And whenever somebody did any type of like line towing joke or anything, like even if it wasn't crazy, I just imagined them telling this to children and I was dying laughing. Like it almost made it more funny for me as a comedian.
Yeah, this is like our pilot episode of our sitcom. This is the show you get booked. It's very Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was honestly horrible. It was a very, I came off and this one comedian at the back was like, "You did the rape joke, huh?" I was like, "Yeah." And then like, everybody was like, "Well, good that you went for it." And I was like, "Fuck me." Like, and so then we get in the car and I was like, you know what? Like that actually was a good warm up for High River because it could not possibly feel worse. And like in High River, I was like, yeah, this crowd's here to laugh. They're here for comedy specifically.
That was another question I had, was like having that run, like, let me ask this the right way. You know, when you get up there and you do a set and it lands and you get laughs, it's like, it's addicting. It's like a very, very good feeling.
Yep.
And then the inverse function of that would be when you go up and it doesn't go well. It's not necessarily that you're defeated, but you're like, oh, I want to go and maybe run through this again, or I want a chance to maybe do this material. And last night you had that. You're like, no, I'm just going to drive to another show. I'm already warmed up. I've already gone through the butterflies, the jitters, and now I'm just going to fucking rip. Like,
yeah.
Did it help that way?
Oh yeah, like in my mind, I was walking in so confident. I was like, "This could not possibly be worse than Netton."
This is such a
improved
situation.
I could go up and get 0 laughs, and at least I'm not like scarring children.
Oh yeah, you're going to be in the Netton Gazette for sure.
Yeah, I already got invited back for the next show.
That's
so
awesome.
But yeah, it was, you know, and then going into High River, and I did a much more polished bit in High River that I've done before about having a vasectomy and stuff like that. That got some great laughs and some good compliments from the crowd. And so, you know, that just felt really good. But yeah, the Netton one was a great warm up. It was like, yeah, I'm going out and fuck it. Like I'm doing the bit that I just rehearsed all morning. Like,
and you said it was a free show. Did they slide you some ginger beef or?
Yo, we got a free plate.
Yeah,
we got a free plate and a free. I didn't have a drink there, but they were giving free drinks to comedians. And they even like Sean came in. I was like, yeah, he's my posse. And they gave him a free plate too. They were like, "Oh yeah,
what?
Yeah."
Okay, this is the most sad I've ever been about missing a show.
You could have loaded up.
There
on
could have been
Chinese
free
food.
Chinese food.
It was actually good Chinese food. I'll give them that.
Yeah, hell yeah, shout them out. Yeah. Raymond's Chinese restaurant in Nanton, Alberta.
Yeah, it's a good spot. And if you are, well, most of our listeners are in the area except all of our Brazilian fans. But go down to that show. And there are good comedians that come out. They have a good lineup, and it's a free show. You get. I mean, obviously, you buy a plate for the buffet and you have dinner, but like, it was genuinely a good show and a good spot.
Look at how far we've come, and I do use the royal we. There was a point in time where we were just hoping that Happy Valley would sponsor this show, and now you got Chinese restaurants coming out the woodwork asking you to come and perform. Look, this is crazy.
Yeah,
man, riding a wave.
It was fun. Fun.
So Happy Valley's out of the question.
Sorry, Happy Valley, you missed your shot.
Yeah, fuck you guys.
We'll still take your money.
And some food.
And some coupons, yeah.
So you went to Vinyl Cafe afterwards. You had a great set.
Yeah.
And not controversy, but you're an unknown entity, right? You're breaking into a new community. So they had you opening.
Yeah. So like Connor that runs the show, he's funny. I've seen him a few times around different shows. I think I've seen him at the Laugh Shop and stuff like that. He's super funny. He's running the show. And I just said, hey, I'm local to Okotoks. Like, I can definitely fill some seats if you want to throw me on the show, because I found it on the Facebook comedy page. And so, yeah, he put me on the show. He doesn't know me from a hole in the wall, though. So he's like, I don't know if this guy's going to suck or if he's going to be funny. And so, yeah, because, you know, he didn't know me, I'm an unknown entity. I was opening, still got 10 minutes and did well. But, yeah, it was like, had to prove myself a little bit.
Yeah. And the feedback you got afterwards was, oh shit, we should have you later in the lineup.
Yeah, get you some more time. Like, got a lot of compliments from him and the other comedians. Like, I went back and they're like, dude, you joke about having the same cock you did when you were 10 years old. He was like, I was fucking keeled over gasping for air.
Yeah,
like,
it hits home.
Yeah, it's relatable.
It's relatable.
And so, yeah, like, got some great feedback from other comedians. And then the crowd, like, obviously, had a ton of support from friends. Your parents came out.
They were like sending me pictures of my friends being like, look who we're hanging with, I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
And tell them to say hi. And then my mom, like, she left me on red. And I was like, oh, fuck
okay,
you.
I'll go fuck myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I had a ton of support, which was really nice. Cause it's like for these shows, especially for the first time that they're doing this show, they need to sell seats. And so my friends and your family and my family really came through and purchased a bunch of tickets. Like literally the first 4 rows were basically all people that came out because I told them to or asked them to.
Yeah, and they got to like the venue's got to be like, oh shit, we need him back. He's gonna bring the crew.
Yeah,
reciprocal.
Yeah, there's an element of that, right? So, excuse me, sorry.
Get that Diet Coke in you.
Wet the whistle. Yeah, and so I talked to Connor, who runs the show afterwards, and he's like, "Man, you killed it! Like, we're gonna have you out for future shows. They're gonna do it monthly moving forward at Vinyl Cafe. So he's like, we're gonna have you out for future shows, get you some more time.
Fucking monthly at Hubtown, monthly at Vinyl, and you're back on the bill at the fucking Laugh Shop.
I got on at the Laugh Shop.
It's happening. There's something going on. There's a little. You said it the other day. I like the term. We've used it with ourselves. Maybe inappropriately now in hindsight, except for Brazil, but an inflection point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're really turning it into something.
And I would say, like, okay, yeah, I'm getting the time and the spots, but like, it's, if you can put yourself out there, you can get time, right? If you're willing to make drives to shows and just be present, you can get time. I think the biggest thing for me is like the feedback that I'm getting, right? Like Dave Dutchin, who's been on a few shows, he's out of Calgary. He comes up to me after like every set I do and he's like, man, like your fucking writing is so good. He's like, I just wish I could get into your mind and like understand how you're putting these bits together.
It's pure ADHD
I was
chaos.
Like, it's so fucked. I was
every day every day is a fucking struggle. But I am really funny.
Phone. I've got this notes app on my phone. I'm like, I just think of things and I write these like 1-sentence liners and I'll come back and try and write off of it. But I was like, sometimes I'll go back to it and there's like, I don't understand the context or why I wrote this or why I thought it would be funny. I just had this premise and it makes no fucking sense in the future. Sometimes maybe it's because I had an edible and it's like, yeah, I will understand this in the future. And it's like, no. Like there's no way that those two like lanes in my brain are ever crossing again. But yeah, so like getting that kind of feedback where people are just like, dude, your writing is fucking like, I don't know where you come up with these bits, but they're hilarious. And then hearing feedback, like you're so confident on stage, you bring such like a good energy, you get people like pumped up, ready to laugh. Like to hear that feedback from other comedians, from crowd members. I mean, your parents had really nice things to say to me last night. All my friends. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, like, are they just being nice? But like, I've had people come out and be like, listen, I know I'm maybe a little biased as your friend, but like you are fucking hilarious. Like you're killing it out there. And so
my parents have really taken ownership of you in the last couple of years. They're very proud. They're very proud.
They've been
of
out to a few shows.
Of my
that they've
best
been out
friend,
to, and paid shows. Like they're willing to spend money on me.
Yeah, which is hilarious. I don't know if we talked about that last time, but just like there was a point in time that you weren't even allowed at my house.
I was banned from the Hoover House. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Fairly, I was a little asshole, but
yeah. And I was such a feral child too. Like I distinctly remember. I guess I shouldn't do names, but there was a birthday party that was at the bowling alley in Okotoks, and the Okotoks moms got together and basically voted, and were like, we can't let Drew come. we need to engineer these relationships in the 4th grade. He's not able to come to the party, and of course in grade 4, like. That was probably a very sincere effort by those parents to be like, okay, we've heard some things about this new kid, some troubling things. He's having a hard time adjusting in school. Some of the things that our kids are bringing home, we don't want that influence. So they get together, they have a conversation. They're like, maybe it's not the time to invite him to the birthday party. And then like yeah, you're in grade 4. So those kids come to school and they're like, guess what?
Guess what my mom said?
Guess what my mom said? So you're not allowed to come to my birthday.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Your mom's a fucking bitch.
Break the news to Drew easily that he's not allowed to attend.
Yeah.
Drew, you fucking idiot.
Yeah. Oh, man. When's the Laugh Shop show?
That is November 5th, the Wednesday. Is that a Wednesday?
Man, I haven't worked in like months. I don't even know what.
Yeah, and like what are days?
Yeah, I know today's Sunday because there's a Jays
Yeah,
game.
it's November 5th. That's the Wednesday. So, yeah, November 5th, I'm going to be doing the amateur night at the Laugh Shop. If you want to grab tickets, that's always a great show because they have an actual headliner, like a professional comedian. So even if I go out and shit the bed, unlikely, or the other comedians shit the bed, you know you're paying to see a professional touring comedian. They always bring somebody great in,
and they manage time really well, and the menu's good there. The drinks
like
are good.
Oh yeah, go for the wings. The Wing Wednesdays there.
Wings and jugs. They do triples.
Yeah. So
hopefully we're still striking by that point. I would love to get in on that one.
Yeah. Sounds like you won't be though. It sounds like the 27th is the day.
Oh yeah. Are we shifting to that? The little update. Well, there's not much to update. You know, it's looking like when they sit on the 27th, they're gonna legislate us back to work.
Yeah. And then it's gonna be work to rule, obviously.
Well, you know, I'm learning so much about this.
Oh, okay. Maybe not, obviously. Sorry.
Well, no, apparently that's like a separate strike action that we haven't authorized, so we couldn't legally do work to rule. But then it becomes a thing of like, well, we are going to do that, but it's just we can't call it that.
You have to like go, or do you have to vote on it again, or is it?
If they were to make it official, but in the legislation, they could very much, you know, define those terms and say you can't do this, and then we'd be back at work, and then we would just be doing work to rule, but we would be unofficially doing it and not calling it that, and being very careful to not go on our own podcast and say that we're doing it, things like that. Yeah. And then the manner in which they legislate us is also really interesting because there's a whole bunch of different ways that it can happen. There's like consenting binding arbitration. You know, we're voluntarily going to go into this process. We'll go back to work. We'll appoint a person to a panel. You appoint a person to a panel. There'll be a third party, and that person will decide through the binding arbitration process what the collective bargaining will be, and we'll move forward from there. That's if they're chill. That's like maybe best case scenario for legislation. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of other ones that restrict what we're able to do, but there's also this, and I don't know how real this possibility is, but it did just get sent out to us from the ATA to just kind of let us know, like, hey, here's where we are in this process, and here's some of the things that could happen. And one of the things that they brought up, and I didn't know about this, is the government using the notwithstanding clause.
Oh, yeah, they love to use that in Alberta.
Yeah, and I was like, well, what would that mean? What would that look like? And what it would look like is getting completely and totally fucked. And they would legislate us back to work, and then they would just dictate a collective bargaining agreement to us and make it like illegal to challenge for a set amount of time. And then it would probably end up in like the court system. Super politically unpalatable and like a very, very extreme move on the government side. So if you're talking about the court of public opinion, probably not the right thing to do. Could also lead to like mass resignations,
right?
You know, and also like the climate that we're going to go back into is like you have 700,000 students who are out, right? You've got 50,000 teachers who are out, and we're going to go back into the situation that before we left was untenable.
Yeah, and
we're just still not going to have an agreement, and we've just got absolutely thumb crushed by the government. It'll be horrible.
Yeah, there will be like this, teachers are professionals, but regardless, I don't care how professional you are, there will be this bubbling animosity.
So much animosity.
All of that, right? And so it's like, oh yeah, I got to go back to school and teach these kids and do the best job that I can with the shit limited resources that I currently have.
I'm only human. Like we're going to go back in, and they're going to want us, like from an employer standpoint, the division's going to want us to hit the ground running.
Yeah.
And yeah, the moral and ethical thing to do is to like go put my best forward, do its meet my professional obligations, but also have a high standard for myself, meet the expectations of parents, and try to do the best job for these kids. But there will be this underlying like fuck you-ness that the very first time I get pushed on something, it'll be that much harder to deal with. I'll be like, you know what? Actually, fuck you so much. Yeah, fuck you very much. I've just lost a month of salary. Nothing has changed, and now you want me to just come back and be the best version of myself? You can eat so much of my ass. Yeah. I need a whole other ass to offer you because that's how much of it you can eat, and that's dangerous. And that's not just my sentiment. I fully did this the other day, and Megan saw me. My wife saw me do this and heard me do this. We were at the playground by the river. And there was a nice young lady there with her kids, and we ended up being like beside each other on the swings. And I can't remember how it came up, but she said something to her daughter about mommy's classroom, and I fully was like, "Oh, you're a teacher?" And like, to set the stage here, I'm dressed like a fucking bum. I'm wearing like Costco plaid. I haven't showered. I was like doing that thing where like I just have to take my kids outside.
I just gotta get some fresh air.
Yeah, if I don't, I'm the biggest piece of shit father in the world. Like we've already watched 2 movies. Like it was book club for the girls Friday night. Everyone's feeling a little tired. So I'm just like out as a mutant. I don't look like a teacher. I look like I'm looking pretty MAGA. Okay. All right. So that's me, and I'm like, oh, you're a teacher, and I never told her that I was. I just let it be. And she's thinking that like, oh, here's this guy.
He's ready to
unload. His kids are off school. She's kind of like, you could tell. She's like, oh, what's he going to say? What's he going to say? And I was able to be like, the most empathetic fucking person on the planet because it's my job too. Yeah. But I just never let her know that. So I was like, oh man, I feel so bad for you guys. Like, how's it been? Tell me a little bit about what's happening. And she unloaded.
Just trauma dumped,
but it was like so sincere, and it was actually really visceral because I was like, fuck, I say these things, this is my experience, this is how I feel, and I talk to my colleagues, and we all have the same opinions on this, but she was actually from Christ the Redeemer. I'm not going to say her name or whatever. I think I can say that. She's from another division, right? But also a publicly funded school division, and the shit she was saying was like, for me to hear, was like appalling. Yeah. She's talking about the disruptions in learning, having to like evacuate her class on a weekly basis because some of the students in there, it's easier to remove the 27 others than the one who is fucking imploding.
Flipping desks and shit.
And she echoed something that I say all the time. She's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I would never want my kids going to my school. Yeah. And I was like, I have said that. I've felt that. That's how bad some of these situations are right now in public education, and we're just going to go back to it. Yeah. We're just going to go back to it with nothing solved.
Tinfoil hat time.
Yeah,
Danielle Smith wants that too. She doesn't want your kids going to that public school.
No, and I've like that.
Actually, that's not even a tinfoil hat. She came out and fucking outright said that.
Totally, and that's I think this would be the 3rd time now, which is intentional. We're trying to follow up on this ongoing process. Yeah, they want privatized. They want to subsidize privatized education. The structures are more beneficial in terms of like giving money to a nonprofit, right? Even though these schools are getting just like insane amounts of tuition money. I don't know how that fucking works, but you can also control what's being taught in schools. Yeah. And you also only get to subsidize or only have to subsidize schools that are doing what you want them to do and serving who you want them to serve. And it's a very, very dangerous thing. And I think what we said last time is it's like a push to establish a class system. It's a push to control more so the political side of what's being taught in schools. And it's wrong and it's dangerous. Yeah. So it fucking sucks. But yeah, so she's going to get what she wants. She's going to get what she wants. We're going to get fucked. And it's it's a really daunting development, On one hand, I said this to another colleague of mine. We met up for beers on Friday, and she was just like, how are you doing? How's Drew the person doing with time off, And I said, like, superficial on the surface, I love it. Like, I hate working at anything, I do. It's like, fuck, my brother and I are the same. We talk about
I think 90% of people given the choice would not work. Like if money was not a concern,
I would prefer to not work. Absolutely. I don't get people who are like, I'm so fulfilled by my job, or even just like, don't you feel like you've contributed to something and you're better about yourself? No, I am not going to fucking die one day. And
I think the people that say that don't have like fulfilling hobbies.
there's something there for sure, but like, I'm not gonna be on my deathbed, talking to my loved ones and being like, thank God I did all of those tough days at work. Thank God I got shit on, like, oh, fuck.
Reminds me of this meme I saw where like this guy's on his deathbed and like his family's all around and he's like, my only regret is that I didn't deliver more value to shareholders.
Yes. Like, what are you fucking talking about? No, I don't want to do that at all. So that was my first answer, was like, I love it. I love not working. But I also, getting paid is something I love.
It's kind of like a necessary thing to exist in today's society.
Yeah. And I also know myself better than that. I'm still kind of that grade 4 kid not getting invited to birthday parties. I need a lot of structure. I always thrived in school when I had like a super, super hardline teacher. I was that kid, the give a mouse a cookie, give me an inch, I take a mile.
Yeah.
Like I don't do well when I'm steering the ship in a lot of ways. It's true. I know myself. So being off work has actually been it's been bad for me. Really, I'm trying to get my kids to daycare. It's a 9:30 cutoff. When I'm at work, I get
That's
them,
no problem.
I get them to school. I get them to daycare by 7:40, and then I get myself to my job before my day starts. Here I am in the middle of a week. I've got an extra 2 hours, 15 minutes in the morning. I can barely fucking get them there.
Yeah.
It's like I've just lost 2 hours to nothing. There's nothing productive happening in my morning. There's no reason for this to occur. I'm just like, I've devolved. I'm less capable because the expectation has been lowered for me. You set the bar and then I rise to it. So now that the bar is like at my ankles, that's what I'm doing. And it hasn't been good. So that's a really long way of saying, even though the situation is going to be bad and it is giving me a lot of anxiety, what that's going to look like when we return, just on a personal level, it will be very positive for me to be back at work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, there's two sides of that coin for sure.
I'm looking forward to going back. I miss the kids, I miss my friends, and I miss maybe not explicitly, but I know that I'll benefit from that routine again.
Yeah. Yeah. What are we going to do when we retire? I sometimes think about that because I'm like, man, I'll just golf all the time. But like, you're kind of making the assumption that like your body is capable of doing that.
Yeah. So Megan and I talk about this often. She's one of those weird people. She's one of those,
She has one of the few jobs that I genuinely think you could find a lot of fulfillment from, right?
She's very fulfilled at work. She's very successful at work. She's well regarded, and she has an important job, not just like, in title, but what she's doing is like, saving lives.
You're helping people with the most important pillar of their life, which is their health.
Yes. And so she doesn't ever even consider the notion of like a retirement age. She's just going to do that until it's no longer time to do that. And we've had arguments and like funny little like back and forth about like, she's going to work till she can't work. She's going to work till she's 65, 70, until they say like, this is something you can no longer do, or her body tells her that, right, or something else comes up that she wants to pursue instead of that. But there's no like set timeline for her to complete her career. I, on the other hand, know that
that pension is fully vested.
It is age. It is age, and years of service must be 85.
Yeah. The old 85 factor.
Yeah. I'm like 56 years old and 1 month when I hit it. If there's no more disruptions to work,
right,
if nothing happens, I'm like just over the edge of that freedom 55, I'll quit on the spot. A timer will go off on my fucking watch. I'll be in the middle of instruction and I'll go like JetBlue, smash a window, hit the eject, and I'm fucking gone. Stone cold, couple beers, fuck everyone, burn every bridge. I'm calling it. And what I'm going to do when I'm retired is whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that like, because right now I'm kind of living that, like, can't get my kids to school for 9:30, playing some video games, being a piece of shit.
But you still do have responsibilities like children and stuff currently.
Absolutely, but I think what I mean to say is professionally, there are things that I would love to do and love to pursue that I cannot because financially there's a lot of barriers. You know, I think I'd be a really, really happy person if I was working in like greenskeeping. If I worked 5 days a week,
or running your current business.
Yeah, like guiding ice fishing. That one's a little tougher, especially as you get older. Like it's such a physical job. You're outside, but there are things that I feel like I could be either, you know, not just fulfilled, but like they're so simple. You know, one thing that I find really challenging about teaching is intellectually you always have to be on. You're always being asked questions. You have to be really thoughtful in your responses. There's concepts that are being communicated. You're dealing with so many different personalities, so many different families. You're always engaged. And I get so much pleasure out of just like riding a fucking lawnmower. You know, like honestly, like just like the brain off. I used to have a job working for Two Birds. And my job was like we'd take down fences at old barns, take down boards, shiplap, all this shit. And I would just be in a fucking parking lot with a hammer and a cat's claw, and I was pulling nails from boards, which sounds like the most monotonous, mind-numbing, horrible thing you could do. But I'm like in the sun, I'm listening to fucking Harry Potter audiobook, some sci-fi shit or some music. No one's talking to me. I don't have to talk. I don't have to think. I'm just pulling a nail from a board, and I'm the happiest I've ever been. I am. I'm like, this is fun. If I could just make $100,000 a year to do this, there's no question. So that's another really long answer, but I think I'll work. I think I'll like do something, but it'll be really simple. Yeah. It'll be really simple, and I'll be able to draw from our savings. I'll be able to hopefully, if I can make it in teaching, I'll have a pension, and I'll be able to engage in work just in such a limited capacity when it comes to like expectations and standards.
That's
what I'll do when I'm retired.
There's this bubbling discussion in society that I read about, especially with like AI growing so much and being trained on Rad Dad Redemption content. It's about to take over the world. But there's this thought that like eventually a lot of jobs are going to be eliminated. Like there will be no need for certain jobs, right? And you're going to have this crisis where people simply cannot find work or cannot find work that uses the skills that they've developed to this point. Like it's a big thing that they're talking about right now in software engineering, because you and I could go open up ChatGPT and have it create an app. Like fully coded, ready to go. Just throw it on the App Store, right? So these people that have like become really skilled at software engineering, it's like, well, your jobs are all of a sudden very much threatened. And so they're talking about things like, you know, how do we solve for this? How do we solve for people no longer being able to find jobs? And one of them is universal basic income, right? Where they're, you know, everybody
communism
basically, but you know, through taxation of corporations that are using AI and not having to pay people, we are going to tax you, and you know we're going to be paying people, and they've done unlimited tests in Canada. In Manitoba, there's a big one where they just give you $2,000 a month.
Because if you don't, the economy implodes, and everyone.
Well, and how are people going to afford to live? You're just going to have this like giant, huge underclass of like homeless people, basically.
Literally huge. We're going to hit 10 billion. You know, absolutely.
And so, you know, it's like, well, if we gave everybody $2,000 a month, and what they found in these studies is that people don't just sit on their asses. People maybe pursue art, right? People pursue a more simple career that maybe AI can't replace, like pulling nails out of a board, right? Like those types of things where it's like, okay, you can still find a way to be fulfilled, but you don't have to chase that dollar to make the math work on your monthly budget, because we're going to fill in that gap for you, right? And they found that, you know, rates of alcoholism drop, rates of drug abuse drop. And so like we are probably heading towards that. I mean, it probably won't be for decades till they figure that out. But I've always thought about that, you know, if that were to happen, and I mean, I'd probably need more than $2,000 a month to quit my job, but I'd pursue comedy, right? Like that's something that would be very fulfilling to me, but like it is super hard to make money in comedy. So that is like not even on my radar as a career option currently, right? But
it's impossible to make money fishing. It's a bad business model. I don't know. A cool logo, and
it's currently actively costing you more money.
Yeah, it is. But I do love it. One of the things Megan asked, if like, because we were having a very sincere ongoing conversation right now about the idea that I don't teach, and that's not a bombshell. Okay, don't quote me if Human Resources is listening. It's not.
Right.
I'm not giving you notice, but I think it's realistic that I won't be doing it. And she's like, "What will you do? How can we manage this? What's the next step?" And she asked me, she's like, "Would you re-educate? Would you go back to school?" And you just made me think of this. One of the things I would do if I could go back just to college age and do something different, it would probably be in like animation, illustration, design, and I'd want to be like a cartoonist. I'd want to work in like producing a show. Those are the types of jobs that are going away. Like that's not a fucking thing. Like Fiverr's not even a thing. Because
it's all AI now.
It's just all AI. I paid someone in the United Kingdom to actually make my Sleuth Shark Industries logo, and we had this huge back and forth. A really nice guy, really cool guy. He didn't know what a pike was, so we had to I send him pictures and talk about, the lure he used for the one coming out of the ice. I was like, oh, you actually would never use a lure like that. And we had this great relationship, and he produced this for me, and I paid him quite a bit of money to get this logo, and someone on Instagram took my logo and just put it through fucking whatever Sora, Gemini, and just changed the cut, and now it's their logo.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that guy did all that work to basically give AI an idea that they could marginally change to, and he got no benefit from that. Your company gets no benefit from that.
No, and now it's and that type of stuff is happening en masse with everything, with animation, with graphic design. It's just eroded this skill base. It's not completely unnecessary. Yeah. I may as well go back to school and fucking take a degree in typewriting. It's not a real thing.
Yeah.
And it's getting narrower and narrower and narrower. So there isn't even this idea of I'd go back and do something I really love, because that's not the point. The point is I need to maintain this lifestyle with my family.
So for every dystopian AI scenario that I imagine, I also think of the times that it just fucks up so bad. So for example, Alicia and I were watching the Flames game the other night. They're on the road to drafting Gavin McKenna, currently dead last in the NHL. But they had the panel on, and a lot of the Flames intermission panelists on Flames TV, they've gone to other jobs. So it's a bunch of new guys. And she's like, "Who's that guy? The bigger guy on the panel there?" And I was like, "I actually don't know. This is the first time I've been watching this panel this year, and I missed the introductions." So I took Gemini on my phone. I pay for Gemini Premium because I'm a fucking idiot, and took a picture of the TV, circled him, and I said, "Who is this person?" And it did its search. It was searching, comparing images on the web, and it was this is Brendan Shanahan. I was like, objectively, I know who Brendan Shanahan is.
No, it's
objectively
not.
And Brendan Shanahan doesn't weigh 300 pounds. It was Brent Cron, by the way, former Flames goalie.
Oh, yeah.
And, I didn't recognize him.
Highly touted.
He was drafted quite highly.
Didn't he go Hitman 2 Flames at one point?
Yeah. Well, he was very, very highly touted, and then I think he ended up playing 6 NHL games or something.
Yeah.
And he put on some pounds. Dude's a big dude,
as you do.
And so I was like, Brendan Shanahan's still actually in relatively good shape. You could actually probably throw him on the ice and he wouldn't look terribly out of place. Brent Cron, not so much.
Yeah, he's not putting the pads on anytime soon.
No. And so I was just like, oh, so I actually knew the answer way better than Gemini, with all of its power to search the entire internet in fractions of a second. I could have told you immediately that that's not Brendan Shanahan, but that's the answer that it provided me.
Oh my God. How many people are using it and just misidentifying?
So it's funny. Here's a conversation that we have in my job, financial planning, right? We are giving people very important financial advice, right? We just talked about retirement. That is the most common thing that I talk about. And we do cash flow projections and stuff like that. And so we've talked about AI in our job, and I'm actually on a pilot project where I've had it enabled. I'm one of the 100 people in all of TD Bank that has Copilot currently. And the big thing is, and what I'm partially testing for the company is when we feed it information, how accurate is the information we're getting back? And we have to be incredibly careful about if a client sends me an email and asks me a question, that I don't just copy paste, throw it in Copilot, copy paste the answer and send it back to the client because it could be wrong. And then what happens? Who do we blame? Because I have errors and omissions insurance. If I fuck up, then we can go to the insurance company that covers TD, and we can say, Dex fucked up, and now the client is in a loss position, or that something bad has happened to them, and the insurance would cover that, and I'd probably get fired. But but so if we're feeding AI information, or if we get to the point where we're replacing financial professionals with AI, and it starts giving wrong information, who is responsible for this? Is it Microsoft or ChatGPT or Google, or is it the bank, or is it the person in between the two that determined this information was ready to be sent to a client, right? Like there's this huge, and so there's all these regulatory questions for us, and it makes me feel slightly more confident about my job because I'm like, well, they can't really replace us if only because they can't just point at AI and blame it if something goes wrong, right? Because we're talking about people's money, their like financial future. And then the Brendan Shanahan thing, I was like, oh, it's not quite ready.
Yeah, no,
it's not ready to replace me.
We're still developing it.
Yeah.
It's got to listen to a few more Rad Dad episodes before it's ready to hit market. Yeah, tons up in the air, man. Honestly, it's an overwhelming concept to think about, but the world is changing so fucking rapidly.
We live in very interesting times, good or bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you check out any of the No Kings protests?
I saw that like there was some huge ones. Philadelphia had a massive one. New York had a massive one. Like we're talking, they were estimating some of these protests were 25,000 plus people. Like these streets are packed. It looks like a Super Bowl parade.
Yeah, we talk about dystopian future. Like this protest in like all these major U.S. cities of just hundreds of thousands of people decrying the commander-in-chief, the president of the United States, being like he's a fucking fraud criminal.
Did you see the AI? Speaking of AI, he loves to post AI shit
when he's in the jet,
dropping some type of material on Chicago.
It looks like it. At first, I was like, is he napalming people?
Well, so there was another one that somebody put out where he's like he didn't put it out, but he's wearing like an army outfit, and Chicago's in the background, and there's fighter jets flying over, and it says, "I love the smell of napalm in the morning." And then after that, that's when he posted the one of him. It
says
like
King
shit.
Trump on the jet, and he's dropping shit on people.
Yeah, on Chicago. And it's like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh man, like there's zero way that you could go back. You couldn't even go back 15 years, time machine, and get someone to believe you.
No.
Just like it's kind of that Nate Bargatze joke where he goes back in time and he's trying to explain the concept of a cell phone and he doesn't even know how.
Yeah, like he can't put the words together to like make somebody understand. Yeah.
It's a satellite. What's a satellite? Oh God, fuck.
You gotta explain so many build-up points.
Yeah, you couldn't get someone to believe like
that's the state of the world.
This is what's happening right now in America.
Yeah. It like again, I think we talked about this on the last one, so it's almost like we're repeating ourselves, but it's probably worth repeating. Is like America is like rapidly marching towards fascist dictatorship.
Yep.
Like they're doing it at a pace that makes Nazi Germany look like it was a slow movie.
Make them blush.
Oh, like it's going so unbelievably fast. It's alarming, honestly. But yeah, he's talking about wanting to lock up governors because they don't want to send in police support for ICE to do their, masked unidentified raids. Like honestly, I hate to say it, but we are almost at the point where you're going to start hearing news stories about ICE officers getting shot because your option is either this masked unidentified person takes you away in a van. Do you know that they're ICE? Did they properly identify themselves? And even if you do know, you're getting sent to fucking Colombia, to Ecuador, to...
Your life is over.
Your life is basically over as you know it. So people are going to get to this point of desperation. I'm not saying it's right, but they're going to start killing officers.
Civil war.
And then that's just going to be further ammunition for Trump to say, well, no, we're sending in the army to support ICE. And it's going to get really ugly. It's heading
to a place where it'll be the defining moment in our history, like this generation.
Yeah, and then it'll be in Alberta history books in about 50 years.
Once we finally replace them. Yeah. Oh God. Oh man.
Yeah, it's it's very spooky to watch from the outside. And it, I also feel like we're in this weird time where like everything is also just like memes and jokes. Like we're such an unserious society. And we perpetuate that on this very podcast. So
Yeah,
like,
we're part of that.
Yeah, we are absolutely part of that. But we're in such an unserious time with a serious backdrop, and everybody just jokes about everything. And I'm like, man, like kids are going to be studying memes in their textbook. They're going to be like, oh, here's the AI meme that Trump made of himself shitting on Chicago from a fighter jet. And like this led to this event and this led to this event. And before you knew it, there was civil war. Right. I sincerely hope they don't get to the point of civil war. And I still like to think that there are systems in place to stop that from happening.
There is a movement. There is a movement right now.
You're seeing some of these major like Republican names like Marjorie Taylor Greene coming out and being like, this is not okay.
This is not okay. And you're actually seeing this this movement of union between Democrats and Republicans. I've seen a ton of stuff coming out. I forget who it is. Maybe I'll have to add a footnote. LOL, I don't do the editing. But like releasing joint advertisements.
Yep.
We both approve this message.
I think you're talking about the governor of Utah, who's a Republican, and the governor of New Mexico, who is a Democrat.
Yeah. And they're like, no, we're not getting anything done. We can't accomplish this because we're basically underwriting the rule of law, where we've just completely and entirely lost our way. And it's not right. This is not what our country's founded on. This is not democracy. And like, there are numbers behind that. Like it's one thing for the Trump administration to come out and be like, it's the super small population of people who are Hamas apologists and Antifa that are propagating these illegal demonstrations. No, it's the majority. It's the vast majority of Americans. Your popularity is historically low, the lowest it's ever been.
Yeah.
It is such a small group of people that are propagating those narratives, and this movement of togetherness and unity. Like there is some reason to be hopeful. There could be a course correction here.
I think you've seen it with a lot of farmers in the U.S., especially like soybean farmers that depended very heavily on the Chinese market, and China just stopped buying soybeans from the United States. And they literally are just like throwing out crops.
They lost everything.
And now they're saying
those are Trump voters. They lost everything.
The Trump voters, like through and through, they will vote Republican until they die. Well, maybe not anymore, but they were his dedicated voter base, and they said, well, this isn't what I wanted. This isn't what I voted for. And I could say, well, yeah, this is what you voted for because he said he was going to do this all along. You just couldn't connect two very basic dots. But I guess it's we won't fault people for arriving to the party a little late.
I heard it's the people that are such fervent. Is that a word?
Yep.
Trump supporters, beyond all reason. The whole God King mentality.
Yeah.
They're very much victims in this.
Oh yeah.
They're being robbed of their critical thinking. They're being robbed of their ability to empathize with their fellow American. They're being robbed of their ability to make a livelihood and just be contributing, engaged, ethical members of society. This is being done to them. These opinions that you hear, this extreme stuff that you watch, and it's like easy to get your blood boiling, or easy to kind of just laugh it off and be like, wow, what a bunch of fucking clowns. It's also like, it's really sad. Like, how could this happen? How could you have this despondent underclass of fools that believe this? And it's like, well, it's been done to them. They're like created in a lab, essentially.
It's an erosion of education.
Yeah,
it starts when they were literally children.
They used to call it the anti-intellectual movement, but it was targeted.
Yeah, absolutely. It's obviously there's always a religious element to that in the United States, right? Like it almost feels like if you don't vote Republican, then you're not a true blue.
You're not a Christian.
You're not a Christian, right? And so there's that when you have to convince people that maybe their religion is steering them the wrong way.
The thing they hold the most sacred.
Yep.
They live their entire lives based on it.
And regardless of who is the president or anything, they've always followed true to that. So you're trying to break through that wall as well. But there's a state representative in Texas who's a pastor, and he's come out and said, well, this is not what Jesus would want. right? Like he's trying to break through that barrier, and he is a devout, godly man, right? So hopefully he can make people recognize that, like, yes, I still can follow the teachings of, my religion, my book, this thing that I've trusted, literally since I was born. But still I can vote for the other person that's not trying to destroy the country. Yeah, you're right. There are reasons to be hopeful, I think.
I think so. And
if you don't have hope, then at the same, like, what the fuck are we doing then? Like, if you have no hope, like, what do you do? How do you wake up in the morning?
Yeah, I think that's what you got. Yeah, you nailed it. You gotta hold on to something. So I'm gonna be optimistic. I'm gonna say, because we got a little doomy and gloomy there, end of the world, as we are apt to do. But I think there's a course correction. People can only listen to RFK talk about foreskin and Tylenol, autism babies for so long. Honestly, like they're
and you can only listen to him for so long, regardless of what he's even saying, because he sounds so fucking disgusting, and he's a mutant. Like, honestly, he could come out and be the most educated, like, well-spoken, thoughtful person on medical issues. Like he could say everything totally perfect, totally right. But just the way he fucking sounds is disgusting.
Yeah, it's an insane voice.
And I understand that he had like a health issue, and I don't mean to like fucking shit on that, but like, you put him in the background, like, and find a better spokesperson. Like, why does he have to be the one
get
that's
him an
always
interpreter?
Talking? Yeah, like,
yeah.
Can we get him like one of those Stephen Hawking? Like, just can he type out?
That'd be more palatable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's disgusting. But anyway.
Yeah. Man, that was a wild ride.
We covered a lot of subjects.
So coming up, just to beat a dead horse, November 5th, Wednesdays. They're always Wednesdays at the Laugh Shop.
Yep, the amateur night.
They're great. They're awesome.
They are good.
If you want to send us a texty or an email, we could convoy, get a couple people out.
Yep.
And
then that weekend, so the Saturday, Hubtown has another show.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And that one, I don't want to spill too many beans, because I don't know if it's actually going to come to fruition. But Jeff was definitely talking about, because it's right before Remembrance Day, making it kind of like in support of the Legion.
Oh, okay. Like a charity event.
Yeah. Like, so, the loony bin aspect, you can still vote for your favorite comedians, but all the loonies are going to go to the Legion, and we're going to try and get some people out, maybe have them taking donations or something like that. And so then I was like, I'm doing my World War II jokes. He's like, they'll fucking love it.
They're going to fucking eat it up.
Yeah. So, that'll be a cool one to see. And that's a long weekend, so you can tie one on.
Twist my arm. Huh? Me?
Wait, is it no? Because the 11th would fall on the Tuesday.
I don't know.
Call in sick on Monday and make it a 4-day weekend.
I could be convinced. And the Looney Bin, definitely, it's a super cool format. And what I can say as a consumer, having finally got back on my supporting Dex role and getting out to shows, it's an improved product. Jeff he's funny. He's going to workshops. He's improving his craft. He's getting better at running those shows. There are more people coming out, more funny people using the opportunity to get time.
Yeah, I was just saying that last night to somebody who, Connor, who ran the show in High River, because he'd been out to the Hubtown once in the early days of the competition.
And was kind of like, yeesh.
No, he said it was good, but he was like, it's a drive for me to come from downtown Calgary and all of that. And then I was like, one thing I think Jeff has done really well is he's networked well, and he's met a lot of comedians. He goes to these workshops at the Laugh Shop quite a bit. He goes to Yuck Yucks, and he's gotten some really good people out. Like, there's been some really funny comedians. There's a couple young guys. Hunter, who's been out to a few. You saw him last weekend. He's super funny, young comedian out of Calgary, and he was actually in Nanton yesterday too.
Was he the first guy that went up?
No, he was after. I didn't even get to see him go up because I had to bail to get to High River, so I didn't get to see his set last night. But he's got some funny shit, and so yeah, Jeff has done a really good job of getting some different names out, and I don't want to say curating, but like just building awareness of the show. And there's been super funny people that I think you're going to see them at some paid shows in the future and stuff like that. Like Hubtown it's making like a little name for itself for comedy.
I felt bad because no one really put it together. The last one was on Thanksgiving weekend,
Yeah.
and it was also like a biblical snowstorm and like rainstorm, and it was really horrible out. So we got in there, and there was like 8 people, and then 13 comedians,
It was comedians telling jokes to comedians.
which was also kind of funny to watch. You
Yeah.
know, especially like if something wouldn't land, and guys would be like, that's what we're here.
Yeah, fuck it, we're practicing.
Yeah, we're working on them. But I do think that format is vastly improved, and I hope that we can get that place filled up. So that's on the 8th.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have nothing to plug. Hopefully I get a job. Hopefully I continue to work at my job. We're going back. And if you want to come fishing, it's Loose Hawk Industries, baby. Anyone in Brazil want to come do some ice fishing tourism?
Yeah.
I'm your fucking dude.
Yeah. That would be like, I feel like, a rich Brazilian that's currently listening, like if they've ever wanted to experience Canada in like the most Canadiana way,
Yeah.
it'd be coming doing some ice fishing.
The most like enthusiastic people I've ever chatted to about ice fishing. When my parents, they go down, they snowbird and they stay in Bucerias by Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah.
And you'd run into people, and we were down there fishing, going offshore, and it would always come up like, oh, well, I actually do some guided fishing, and people just like, it would blow their fucking mind. They're
That
like,
you like fishing through the ice.
yeah, they're like, how do you get on the ice? I'm like, well, I drive my truck. And they're like, you drive your truck on a frozen lake, and you drill a hole in it, and you catch fish through it. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, this is crazy. This is the wildest shit I've ever heard. I have to do that. And I was like, yeah, fuck.
Yeah, it's an experience.
Yeah. 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 You've had that experience.
Oh yeah, sleeping outdoors.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Nothing like it. Shit. Well, that was a great episode, buddy.
Yeah, we had a good time. All right, catch you for the next one, folks.
Bye.